All right, what is good? What is happening, everybody? It is your boy Primitive AK here, back with another video for you guys. Today we are here with the top 5 overall best meta loadouts to be using in Battlefield 6. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. If you guys are new to the channel, we do post quite a bit of some Battlefield content here. For those that are not new to the channel, you've been here for a while, you guys can expect to see firsthand footage of Black Ops 7 when the game does come out for me on Thursday morning. So you can expect to see plenty of content of that on the way. Battlefield's not leaving the channel entirely, but it is going to take a sidestep when Black Ops 7 does come out. But without further ado, you guys are here for the top 5 meta loadouts. Now, this is in no particular order. I just want to be very clear on that. I'm going to start off with my favorite class setup of all time, and that is going to be the SG553 R class setup in Battlefield 6. This is by far one of the most consistent weapons in the entire game. It is a carbine, so it's not tied to any specific class. And the reason why I say this is super consistent is because this is the main carbine that pretty much every sweaty streamer that you watch on Twitch is using. It is a very consistent, very accurate, and very good damage carbine in the game. Now, the loadout that I'm using for this bad boy is actually pretty straightforward. I've got the slim angled. This is primarily for the movement capabilities while also giving you additional weapon draw speed and also reduces your recoil. So really helpful there. I've got the Mini Flex 1.0. Normally, I do go for things like the ROM 1.75, but this is a hyper-aggressive class setup, so that's why you want to opt for using something like just a regular 1.0 sight. Mag Catch, obviously, for the faster reload speed. Green Laser, because like I said, this is a hyper-aggressive class, so you want to make sure you have something that can help you out with hip fire at closer ranges. So this is going to be the go-to laser to get this job done. Standard suppressors, primarily just so you can stay off the radar. No major, no major thinking to that one. Kind of a no-brainer. You don't want to stay off the radar. We got extended mags here, 303 LB. That's primarily for the extra range and bullet velocity. Primarily for the bullet velocity, though, you can see it does fall off to 519, which is why you want to use this bad boy. Standard ammunition, FMJ. You don't really need to change that there. I don't think you need to use anything like the hollow point. It's just not really needed, in my opinion. I'm using 30 fast so that way I could reload just a tad bit faster. You can also go for the 36, but just bear in mind you're going to have to make a trade-off with one of the other attachments if you want to use this thing. But I feel like 30 is enough. I put myself in situations where I don't have to reload too often. And also, if I do have to reload, I have plenty of time to be able to react to that. So like I said, this is my go-to class for almost any and all situations. I'm actually going to try to go for this weapon to be at level 100 because I actually really do thoroughly enjoy the weapon that much. But again, to each their own. This is just what I prefer. And some people may not like this weapon just because of the recoil. It does have a bit of some recoil, but it's really not that bad in my opinion. The next up is going to be actually a weapon for the recon class. This is my favorite recon class to use for snipers. And normally you would think that I put like regular weapons in a top 5 tier list, but I wanted to include at least one sniper because sniping is very strong on this game and it is very viable. So that's why I'm going to opt to use the Mini Scout here. Now the Mini Scout, unlike a lot of the other snipers, the reason why I rank this sniper the highest is because it rewards high skill. When I say high skill, I mean if you are consistently landing headshots in this game, the Mini Scout by far outclasses every single sniper in the game. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the sniper itself a little more. Now this thing does not have a sweet spot. And for those that are not aware of what a sweet spot is where you can one-shot kill in the upper torso or upper body up to a certain range. The other snipers in the game all have a sweet spot. However, the Mini Scout does not have a sweet spot, which means that you cannot one-hit body shot at certain ranges. You can only get a one-hit by landing headshots. But the reason why this thing is absolutely mental is because you get 1100 bullet velocity with this thing. Out of the gate, it does come with about 704 or about 880. I believe, yeah, it's actually 880 is what the base comes with, which is very high already. But if you want to bump this even higher with the extended barrel, you can bump this up to 1100, which is incredibly fast and almost has no bullet, no bullet drop up to certain ranges. That's why I really do like the sniper. We're gonna be rocking the SSDS 6.0 scope. Really, really good scope here for all the snipers, and I really do like the 6X, especially when you're playing modes like Breakthrough. I've got suppressor so I can stay off the radar when I'm firing. I don't like to be pinged too much, even though the scope does give it away for where you're located. I got full angled here. This is just going to increase your weapon draw speed and enable faster transition to ADS at the cost of accuracy while moving, which doesn't really matter on a sniper. I've got 15 rounds fast. Kind of a no-brainer there. I just like having more mags and also reloading quicker. FMJ here. Notice with this sniper, you cannot actually use long-range rounds, so just bear that in mind when you use this thing. So I don't think it's really needed. That's why I'm not using it. Green laser, because there are some rare moments where I am going to hip fire, and this thing does a really good job of hip fire. So you don't just throw that bad boy on. But like I said, this weapon rewards very high skill players. If you're a casual player and you're still decent at landing your headshots, I think you really are going to like this thing. And even if you land body shots, you're still going to be able to get that follow-up shot fairly quickly. And that's why I rank this weapon fairly high in the top 5 of my favorite weapons to use. Moving on to the next meta weapon that you're going to want to be using. It is actually going to be an LMG. And the LMG of choice is going to be the DRS-IAR. This is a very, very strong weapon. I actually severely underrated this weapon quite a while ago. But I've since have made it one of my main choices to be using for a lot of LMGs in the game. And currently, to date, I think it's, what is it, November 10th today as when I'm making this video. This is probably the only weapon that I'm using right now. You can see, I was actually using this yesterday, and it was at level 0. And during double XP, I was playing for a decent amount of time with some friends, and I got it up to level 30 in quite literally one sitting. And this thing is just absolutely insane. Let's talk about the class. We got 1.75x. This thing is just absolutely insane when it comes to recoil. It's very, very easy to control. You can pretty much rush with this thing. Now, I play hyper aggressive with the 1.75x, but if you want to use a smaller scope that's not as zoomed, mini flex is a go-to option as well. We got green laser here for the hip fire. Very, very good on this weapon. Standard suppressor is going to be the go-to option here. We got heavy extended as well, the 20-inch SDMR. Pretty much, when it comes to barrels, you want to go for anything that's going to increase your bullet velocity. So you can see the heavy extended and the regular extended LE are the ones that increase your bullet velocity. So those are the ones you want to opt for. But I decided to just go with heavy extended here. I've got the slim angled here. Either that or the full angled is a very good option. We got 36 round mag. You don't need the 36. You can still go with just the standard 30 if you want. But those extra 5 rounds actually do help me out quite a bit. So that's why I decided to opt for it here. FMJ is going to be the go-to option here. Now, I kind of want to experiment with synthetic tip when I do unlock it, but I don't have it unlocked right now. And also, this thing is extremely expensive. Because usually, when it comes to hollow point, you have a choice of either hollow point or synthetic. I personally prefer synthetic because it does dramatically increase your time to kill. But like I said, it really comes down to personal preference. You'll kind of just have to play around with it and figure out what you feel is a better option. But me personally, synthetic would probably be a really good option here. You're just going to have to find some trade-offs to use with some of the other attachment here. So that's going to be a bit of a downside when you're using this thing. But eventually you'll figure out what works best for you. You don't need synthetic. It does fine without it. But man, oh man, synthetic is absolutely nuts on this game. But yeah, that's it for the DRS-IAR. Like I said, this is a very, very strong weapon. Highly recommend you guys give it a go. And you very much will not be disappointed with that weapon as a whole. It's just incredibly strong across the board. Next up is going to be another high skill weapon. This is going to be in my top 5 for meta weapons right now, and it's going to be the NVO-22AE. This is basically, think of it like the AK-47. That's basically what this gun is. It's very, very accurate, very consistent, and it has decent damage at a lot of ranges, and it does reward those that top fire. Now, the class setup I got for this bad boy is going to be the extended barrel. I've got the suppressor, standard suppressor, by the way, 1.75 ROM scope. I've got 36 round mag. I prefer to have a few more shots in this thing. I've got the full angle this time. This one's going to give us more reduction in our recoil, so a huge help. And we got standard ammunition to go with it as well. There's not much to really describe about this weapon, except for the fact that it is very consistent with the damage at range. I would say this is probably one of the better assault rifles in the game, because a lot of the assault rifles really aren't that good, in my opinion. I just think that they need a little bit of a buff. But, you know, to each their own. Some people have said the L85 is better than the NVO because of the accuracy. Me, personally, I don't agree with them on that one. I feel like the NVO is just a better all-around, much better weapon. Because it excels at almost all ranges. Like I said, I play hyper-aggressive with this loadout. But you certainly don't have to. That's really entirely up to you. Moving on to the SMG category. In my top 5 weapons is going to be the PW5A3. This is essentially the MP5 for those that are not familiar with this weapon. And the reason why I'm choosing this one, I know some people are probably calling me crazy saying, oh, the SCW is way better, or the KV9 is better, it has faster time to kill. And yes, you are right. They do have faster time to kills. But in terms of consistency, when I go for these loadouts, the top thing I'm looking for is consistency. And a lot of times, these other weapons may not be consistent at certain ranges. That's why I prefer to opt for the PW5A3. Now, that's not to say that the SCW and the KV9 are not good weapons at all. They are very good weapons. But if you're struggling with finding a groove in this game when it comes to class setups, the MP5 is going to be the go-to for consistency here. So, loadout I've got here, we got the 6H64 vertical. I've got the green laser to go with this bad boy. Standard suppressor. Extended barrel for the bullet velocity. Like I said, bullet velocity is very important on this game. The ROM 1.75x. Now, you don't have to use a scope on this. You could probably go with either, like, the default iron sights or just one of the 1.0 scopes. There's no wrong answer there. Mag catch for the faster reload. Kind of a no-brainer. I've got 30 round fast. Don't use the 40. It's just not worth it for how much it costs. And, like I said, standard ammunition here. Very, very good weapon and very, very strong. But like I said, in terms of SMGs, I would say this is the most consistent. You really can't go wrong with any of these, to be honest with you. They're all very good. It really just comes down to what you prefer in a weapon. And last but not least is going to be an assault rifle again. I've got the M4A1 this time. A lot of people sleep on this weapon. Like, they kind of use it as their starter and then they just stop using it altogether. I was one of those people, but this is still a very, very good weapon. It's very consistent at all ranges. It's got consistent damage, consistent recoil, and overall, it's just good. I don't know any other way to say it. It's just S tier in my opinion. I've kind of moved on from this weapon. I prefer to run the SG553. Like, if I was comparing these two, I had to pick one between the SG and the M4. I'm gonna go with the SG, but the M4 is not a bad weapon at all. Because the SG, you do have to complete a challenge to unlock this, by the way. I don't remember the exact challenge. I think part of it is, like, getting kills with the NVO and getting kills at, like, 50 meters or something like that with an AR. But the M4, like I said, very, very consistent gun. I've got standard suppressor to go with this. I've got the 1.75 scope. The classic vertical this time. Though I would probably opt to swap this out for, like, maybe one of the stubby grips. This is actually the wrong grip that I have on this thing. I would probably swap this out entirely with something else. I've got 36 round mag. We got extended barrel, primarily for the bullet velocity. Very important. Like I said, standard suppressor. Ammunition is going to be standard. Again, nothing crazy there. Now, if you want to put on a laser sight, you can. There's no wrong answer in terms of laser. But it's really up to you. I felt like I didn't need it, but it can help in certain close quarter situations. So just kind of play with it and figure out if it's something that you want to throw on. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for my top 5 class setups to use in Battlefield 6. Like I said, these are just my personal preferences, and these are overall what a lot of streamers that you see are using, and the loadouts that they're using to go with it. These loadouts shoot for more consistency, and if you use these loadouts, I think you're going to find a pretty good groove. However, there are other better options out there as well. Like, I know some people like to talk about the... I'll add an honorable mention as well. We'll add an honorable mention, and that's going to be the KTS100 MK8. The reason why I bumped this down is because it really only excels at one thing, and that is medium to long range. That's why I bumped this one down. This actually was originally in my top 5, but I kind of bumped it down a little bit, like I said. But I'm going to put it as an honorable mention because it is highly, highly accurate. Highly accurate. It just comes down to whether or not you want to, like, use something like this. So the grip I've got is the folding vertical. I've got heavy extended for the bullet velocity primary. Look at the bullet velocity. It's at over 1,000. That's another reason why I rank this one pretty high. I've got the bigger suppressor this time so I can have a bigger range of staying off the radar. We got the ROM 1.75 scope. Synthetic rounds. This is what makes this class setup tick, because this turns it into a 2-shot kill, and it's absolutely insane. That's why I put this as honorable mention. Don't sleep on this gun. It is good. Just know that at close range, you are going to lose a lot of fights. I got 45 round fast as well. And like I said, folding vertical. I kind of just threw this just to use the points. You don't have to use it. It's entirely up to you. You could probably take this off and maybe go for something like a laser sight as a better option for hip fire, but you really shouldn't be playing close quarters with this thing. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for my top 5 class setups with honorable mentions as well. But I appreciate you guys showing love and support as always. Let me know if there's a specific weapon that is not on this list that you think is in your top 5. And let me know what you guys think about the weapons. I'll catch you guys in the next one. It's your boy Primitive AK, signing out. Peace out, fellas.